Hello YouTubers, ZM here with my last video for 2022 before we usher in 2023. Now it should come as no surprise that I love Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures. I should preface that because while there have been some figures with horrendous quality control issues, I am happy to say that ever since I started the line, I've never had a problem with my figures. If a joint was tight, I just put some shock oil on it to prevent a break. If a hand socket was too tight, I'd shave some plastic out with an X-Acto knife. If a neck ball was too tight, I used some shock oil to loosen it up, then I used a sanding block all over the neck ball to make it a bit smaller for the helmet to pop onto. But that's besides the point of this video. My top Lightning Collection figures of all time. This is from the start of the line all the way up to 2022, so all different waves will be represented, but I am issuing some ground rules for myself. Half the list is Rangers and Allies, the other half are monsters and grunts to make things fair. I'm also giving the comics a bonus well in these rulings. So let's kick things off with number 10, Alpha and Zordon. Not too much to say about these two, as Zordon is basically a light-up wall ornament and Alpha's got no issues. I do find it hilarious that modern Alpha 5 figures nowadays all include his teddy bear from Day of the Dumpster. So magical. Number 9, Pudgy Pig and Tango Warrior. Wow, we're at a controversy already? Yeah, Pudgy Pig was sadly connected to a controversy regarding how much he was at PulseCon a few years back, as he was about $60 at PulseCon, but when he was revealed or listed as a Target exclusive with some accessories removed, he was about $30. To my understanding, with the PulseCon price, it was likely due to both the lunchbox packaging and the fact that Pudgy Pig himself is so dense in terms of plastic content and toy manufacturing ain't cheap. Other than that, how's the figure? No complaints aside from the controversy. His joints are fantastic and can even shove a ranger into his mouth too. His accessories are great too, but he didn't use them in the US footage. Slight bummer. On the flip side of this number, Tanga's got no complaints whatsoever. This figure hits the highs of a lot of lists for good reason. It's that damn good. The joints are smooth, you can swap the wing bits on his arms, and you can army build them. Which is what happened to me when Will Carter on Twitter gifted me 5 more of the bloody birds. I thank him very much. Number 8, In Space Silver and Lunar Wolf. Wow, I must really want to get the controversies out of the way before we get to the good stuff, huh? Well, these are two different controversies. Kinda. Let's get Lunar Wolf out of the way first. Basically, the factory screwed up on what paint apps Lunar Wolf was supposed to have, and he was shipped out with 5 stripes on his chest and white boots when it should have been 6 stripes and silver boots. It took at least 3 running changes to get Lunar Wolf fixed, but the amount of venom and entitlement some fans spewed towards John Warden was unacceptable. Claiming he was lying about fixing the figures, when he's got no reason to lie, and even assured me in private DMs that it would get fixed, and it did. Ugh. Aside from that, Lunar Wolf turned out fine. Sadly, he didn't come with a holster for his Lunar Q. There is a theory that Lunar Wolf was based on the version of the suit when Power Rangers was at Disneyland, which didn't have a holster, but I doubt it. It's likely whoever designed Lunar Wolf just forgot to sculpt the holster onto the figure, which is unfortunate. From one controversy to another, we have In Space Silver, and oh dear God, where to begin? First off, there was obviously a massive miscommunication problem between a few folks at Hasbro, and most definitely at Walgreens, for which In Space Silver was an exclusive there. However, several months passed, and In Space Silver never showed up at Walgreens. Not even my local store had him, especially when it was revealed on a Hasbro Pulse stream. Turns out the stock might have gotten lost, or the cargo ship holding said stock got sunk, which is connected to another figure we'll get to later. Walgreens did eventually list him on the website, and fans were finally able to get him more easily, but holy Onyx, this figure should not have been that hard to obtain. Aside from all that, the molds for these two are perfect. I don't know what it is about Silver Ranger body molds that make the articulation so perfect, but nothing felt tight or loose on both of these guys. I highly recommend them, especially if you can track down the version of In Space Silver with the Silver Cycle coming next year. Number 7, Time Force Red. This figure turned out pretty darn well, aside from the incorrect paint on the chest, which seems to be a theme. Looking at you, Lucas. At least my copy didn't turn out bad. The joints are tight, nothing's loose, and I love his accessories. Head sculpt's pretty good too. But yeah, I got no real quibbles on Time Force Red here. Jury's out on Lucas until I get him from a stronger batch, because the current batch... oh boy. Number 6, TMNT Rangers. Finishing the bottom 5 are the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers / Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2-packs, with Leo, Raph, Donnie, Mikey, and April as the normal Rangers, Tommy as a foot soldier, and Green Ranger Shredder. These figures are probably the best in the line, aside from the Street Fighter ones that I don't have yet, but these figures are fantastic. I got no complaints, and the figures can still form the Power Blaster if needed for display. Number 5, Ecliptor. Separating from the Astronomer and Ecliptor 2-pack, Ecliptor is an exceptional figure in the line. No looseness, nothing's missing, and yeah, not all of his green lines are painted, but given Hasbro's trying to stay in budget of the 2-pack, which was about $55 at the time of this video's writing, it would have made the 2-pack more expensive if they painted all the lines on him and put the 2-pack over budget. On the other side of the coin is the red Cyber Ecliptor. I'm still shocked that Hasbro decided to make a figure of this version of Ecliptor, despite the fact he was only in one episode before the penultimate episode of In Space, and it was entirely in Sentai footage. In Space didn't have the red Ecliptor suit to use for US footage. This figure's fantastic as well, especially when you take the time to pick out the cybernetics on him with paint. I do believe this version of the mold has one more use as normal Cyber Ecliptor, so I can imagine we'll get another 2-pack with Cyber Astronomer in the future as well. Number 4. Phantom Ranger. This release was a weird one since Phantom Ranger's from Turbo, yet his box was labeled as In Space. Yes, Phantom Ranger appeared in a few episodes of In Space, but the majority of his appearances were in Turbo. Weird. Aside from that, Phantom is quite possibly the best figure in the line, fighting the Tangas and Finster for that spot. He's the first instance of a pinless male body for the Lightning Collection, and it's honestly the best execution I've seen yet. His articulation's flawless, nothing is loose, and his accessories are great. He never really used the Turbo Navigator in Blaster mode, but he did use it in Legacy Wars, which is also where that effect for his Power Ruby came from. I also love how in the recent comics, Phantom was given layers to his identity that we never considered before, and I love it. Number 3, Scorpina. Finally, after 30-some-odd years of Scorpina never getting a good figure after a canceled Monster Form figure back during Mighty Morphin, and the Imagine X figure doesn't count, we finally have one thanks to the Lightning Collection. She came in a 2-pack with the EHS MMPR Yellow, which is very much based on the Goldar's Vice Versa episode, and I got no complaints on her. I honestly can't wait to see Scorpina again as her monster form in the Deluxe line. Hasbro really is rectifying Bandai's mistakes here. Number 2, Tyrannosaurus and Final Form Draken. One more controversy for the road. Remember when I mentioned way back in In-Space Silver and Lunar Wolf that In-Space Silvers were likely sunk at sea? Well, that might have happened with the Tyrannosaurus, which caused pre-orders to stall for over a bloody year, and Target charging people constantly for it, despite it taking forever to get to people's pre-orders. I honestly had some choice words for this debacle, but it wasn't the fault of Target at the end of the day. I'm just sad it took that long. I finally got the figure on my birthday this year, and I absolutely love the thing. The sculpt is fantastic, no complaints on the joints here. Final Form Draken was a surprise, as I thought they would go in order of Draken evolutions, but nope. This was the PulseCon 2020 exclusive, and I somehow managed to get this thing in the mail on Memorial Day of all days. Weird. But yeah, Final Form Draken is great. I love how Saba was remolded to have his head removable to show Draken ripping his head off in the comics, and I love the exclusive base he has. I just wish his cape was more softer or fabric, because the hard swoosh motion it's in is a bit of a sore spot for me. Then again, I don't like plastic capes in general. Here's hoping Mr. Force has much softer capes when they get into the line. Honorable mentions time. First up, Rita and Zed Wedding Pack. I love this 2-pack. Yes, it caused me to double up on Zed, but given this was our best looking Rita figure in years, I had to get this set. Number 2, Cogs 2-pack. Kinda happy they did a Cog 2-pack showing the different versions of them from Zeo, as the red-suited one was Zeo exclusive. Other than that, no complaints. Number 3, Eye Guy. Much like Pudgy Pig, this guy is chunky and very easy to stand and pose. I don't blame the painter not doing all of his eyeballs. That definitely would have put this guy over budget. Number 4, Lost Galaxy. Why am I lumping all of Lost Galaxy together? I list my rules. But in all seriousness, Lost Galaxy has no complaints for me. Every figure is fantastic, including Lost Galaxy's re-release with the Quasar launcher. Number 5, Dino Charge. Again, I list my rules. Dino Charge's figures are all fantastic, and I cannot wait to get Coda whenever he releases. Seriously, what's up with that? Number 6, SPD. SPD's figures have been great, but they all have their own foibles. I recommend my buddy Sound.12's Lightning Collection rundown videos for more info on that. I'm singling Kruger as he's my favorite of the SPD figures aside from Omega. But yeah, aside from the weirdness on the morphers and paints, SPD's been pretty solid. One last honorable mention, the Psycho Rangers. All these figures turned out great, and I'm very happy that I was able to finally get the team pack at Morphicon earlier this year. Finally, at number 1, Dino Fury Red. You likely saw this coming because I cannot sing Russell Curry's praises as Zato enough on Dino Fury, so having his figure was a no-brainer. I also loved when he got to unveil his figure on a stream. More actors should do that, honestly. But yeah, Dino Fury Red's figure is great. No looseness on this one, paint's pretty good, and accessories are great too. I would have liked a Dino Dagger too, but given how little they've used it, I can see why it wasn't included. So that's my list for my top Lightning Collection figures. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check me out on all my social medias as well as Hero Club, and here's the 2023 as we hope the figures revealed that year are just as good, if not better than 2022. Bye!